Hey guys, it's me, Phoenix Labs here, and today we have the Eduard P-39N Era Cobra in 1/48 scale. This will be the Profile Pack Addiction, which, if you do not know or are not in the loop, that means that there's a few extra little goodies included in this box. Now, you may notice this box is a little banged up. That is because the person who sent this to me put it in a plastic bag. So, not particularly a good way to keep this in good nick. Now, here you can see the absolutely stunning box art featuring Little Joe. And I've already went through the instructions and read the little story behind this, but as you can see, this is when the story goes, this guy flew at seems like the maximum altitude of the P-39 and shot down a Ju-88. And I'll get back to this, but this seems to be depicting that encounter. Otherwise, pretty stellar box art. Here we can see the various different paint schemes, which we once again will be getting back to, but as usual, Eduard provides a fair few of them, which is really nice. Usually, most companies only include 2 to 3 different paint schemes, so it's always nice to see when they include more than that. So get all that, and then see much else to be going on the box. So let's get to the inside of this. Alright, starting off here, we have the translucent sprue. It's also worth mentioning that this original tooling is from, I believe, 2001, maybe a little newer. But it's a pretty old kit now, over 20 years. But this specific kit was produced much more recently, I believe, within the last couple of years. So here we got the canopy as well as the doors, which most aircraft, or most fighter aircraft at least of the time, can't really brag to have. As well as a few mystery translucent pieces. I believe one of those is for a spotting light, or whatever they're called. You can see nice crisp details on these doors, and very, very translucent. Always good to see. After that, we get to the main beef of the kit, which is this one bag that includes all 3 sprues that are in this kit. So not a lot of sprues, but as you can see, it's pretty densely packed. And let's quickly have a look at these, if I can get the bag open one-handed. There we go. Quickly use my other hand. Alright, so starting off here, we have the fuselage. This is sprue, this is one of the sprues. One thing I don't like that Eduard does is they make the sprue letter very small on it, so when you're going through and marking them out, it's a little hard to really see it. So I recommend using some painter's tape and then just write in just a nice big letter of which sprue letter this is. Almost said number there. Here we can see some very, very beautifully detailed fuselage parts. Let's get all nice and close on that. See if the camera will readjust. Yeah, very, very nice. It's very crisp details. Look absolutely perfect. And towards the rear of the aircraft, we got the nice fabric covered tail. Well, I mean, not all of it, but you get the gist. Here we got the two tail planes. Part of the cockpit, I believe, actually most of this is the cockpit, which looks nice and detailed. We got some gun barrels here, which are, once again, very nicely molded. Usually when it comes to holes like these on gun barrels, they're not that deep, but these ones are pretty perfect, or the best you're gonna get at least from a plastic part. And here we can see two sets of different exhausts, which I'm guessing depending on which variant. I believe there's a P400 variant in this kit, so I'm guessing that one of these you would use for a P400 while the other you would use for the P-39N. The P400, by the way, despite the very different sounding name, is basically the same aircraft, but with a few minor changes. Very minor. Still very much so a P-39. Here we got the instrument panel. Lots of doodads and doohickeys on there, as well as two different nose gun mounts, which is interesting. This one doesn't seem to be too drilled out while that one is. Perhaps they are different in some way I'm not really seeing, but they look very similar. And we also get, I'm guessing, a cockpit armor plate and some bombs. So, yeah, fair bit on this one sprue here. And, yeah, let's move on to the second one. Now, this one seems to contain all the small, tiny bits, such as we can see, the wheels, which seem pretty smooth, so I know for most they'll be replacing those with a proper wheel, probably like resin or something like that. And we get two different sets of propellers, so, and they are individual propellers, so hopefully the nose cone of this aircraft is set up so that way you can position these correctly. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. I believe that's also part of the landing gear, like the nose, landing gear covers, more wheels. I'm guessing you can do different types of wheels. Some of these look like they're flans, so it can look like the aircraft has some weight to it. And some bomb mounts, and a whole bunch of other doohickeys. I have no idea what they do. So, nice simple sprue there. And then, here we go. Now we got the another, full focus, some other exhaust ports. So you get 3 sets of these. Here we got the nose, which doesn't seem to have, it might. It also seems we can do a 4-bladed and a 3-bladed propeller, so, and we also get even more propeller blades on this one, which is pretty interesting. What else? Yeah, let's get a nice look. Doesn't look on the camera, but these have some really beautiful, nice details. Like, for a kit that's like 20 years old, this is pretty stellar. This might actually be a little bit more than you would see on a Tommy kit from the same time period. So, very beautifully detailed. And then finally, let's get to these wings. Yeah, these are perfect. They are nice, crisp, look beautiful. Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Some drop tanks and some radio equipment, probably. And some other, some other identifiable stuff. So, yeah, 3 sprues, pretty dense in what they have. So this actually does have a fair few amount of parts, despite how few there actually is, or how few sprues there actually are. And then here we got the instruction manual, which has a nice history of this aircraft. You can pause this and read through it. But I do find it funny how this little description of the P-39 is on here. The P-39 is a very underrated aircraft, but that's mostly because early on there was a lot of mixed experiences. The aircraft design itself was pretty good. It was just, I don't know, there's quite a few factors that went into it being not as great as it could have been. I'm not going to go into it here. Might go into it here. I believe there's a YouTube account called Greg's Military Aircraft, I believe, which goes into way more detail about the P-39, which it's an excellent video. You should definitely watch it. But yeah, let's start seeing what's inside this plane. Here we got the sprues laid out, and a little bit of spoiler for what else we're going to be getting into. Colors list. And those blued out parts, I'm guessing, are parts we're not going to need. So we're not going to need all of these, but still a fair few amount of parts we're going to be using today. All right. Now here we got the... This camera's way too zoomy. Yeah, there we go. Nice and crisp. All right, just pause it and look. Here we got the interior, which got your radio, and then you get to the instrument panel, which here you can see you got the option of using photo etch and optionally decals if you don't want to use the photo etch, which since this is the profile pack version, I probably will. And yeah, we got the seatbelt buckles here and the seat itself, so won't have to make those. I know a lot of people prefer to have seatbelt buckles. I'm guessing that's going to be the landing gear bay. And then we'll be assembling the aircraft. And the older versions of this kit came with a nose weight, which, you know, was very convenient. But I'm guessing it says somewhere. I didn't see it, but you would have to... what was it? Fuck. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. You're probably going to have to guess if it's not on there. I saw a suggestion for liquid weight, or liquid gravity, I think it actually is, so that should help fill up that nose cavity nice so it sits correctly. And here, I'm going to explain what this means, but for marking D, we have to add these extra photo etch parts on the... I guess we're doing it on the exterior, which I think that's supposed to be the interior in reality, but I don't know, maybe I'm misinterpreting this, but what was I about to say? Yeah, you also got some holes you have to drill out, and this is for a specific paint job for this aircraft, different livery. And the reason why you would put that on there is because that specific livery had a modification made to it, which we'll get to when we get to the painting section. And then even more stuff on the cockpit. I would probably do this before putting the two halves together, but I don't know, maybe can't quite do it without the halves there. Then we got the wings, which the cooling system, marking E, yeah, just basically where you have to remove bits of the plastic for the machine guns. And the nose piece we'll be using. And even more of the radiators. And then we get to the landing gear, which, once again, as I said earlier, we got the option between full wheels or flat wheels, which flat wheels will be a bit nicer for display. Make it look like the aircraft has some weight to it. The landing gear on, and then you got your option between drop tanks or mounting a bomb. And something, I'm not really sure what that's for. And then front landing gear, nose wheel, and landing gear doors. Doors to the cockpit as well as the canopy and the exhausts. More vent stuff and even more small tiny parts. Then finally you put all the guns in as well as the nose piece. And then here we got the masks, which this tells you how to lay out the masks properly, which I'll pull out once we get to those. You put these over parts of the kit that you don't want to get paint on, and pull them off once you're ready. So really, really convenient, and probably the main reason why you would get a profile pack is for these masks, because it's a little bit cheaper than buying them directly, and you also get the extra interior parts. And then, yeah, finally we get to the paint job. So starting off, we got the Cub aircraft, which is an American U.S. Air Force P-39N. This one, you might remember from the box art, it didn't have that little marking on there. And that's because that represents the Ju-88 it shot down. So, pretty... I mean, I know it's a one-tone camouflage, but that yellow and all that extra red and white makes this look pretty colorful. Here we have a similar aircraft, or similar in paint scheme, like in the yellow, but instead it's got a white tail. And I believe this one was in Papua New Guinea, yep. And yeah, you got a little bit of nose art on there, number 51. Pretty nice. I believe I think it was Plasma did a paint scheme similar to this one for his P-39. Then we got another white-tailed one from Papua New Guinea. This one's got a little cowboy on it, Whiskey Pete, and yellow markings instead of the red. So. And then here we got the paint scheme I'm personally going to do, and the one that I mentioned earlier. This is Grigory Rechkolov, however the fuck you say that. P-39Ns. He was a very high-scoring Soviet ace. And according to this description, you can read it here. Apparently the rear of the aircraft ended up experiencing so much wear from fighting that they had to replace it, and they replaced it with the P-39Q tail, and that's why you would put that extra part on there to distinguish it from the regular N. And that's also why the front end of the aircraft is a sort of olive drab, while the aft of the aircraft has this giant section that's a different color, which is I don't know, I feel like I have to do more research into it, because I haven't seen any photos of what they're talking about in this description, but I don't know. Maybe I'll see one that's close enough. So, yeah, really unique aircraft here. Got a nice Soviet markings. And then here is another P-39N one. I thought that was the P-400. Maybe I was misremembering there being a P-400 in this kit. Unless I wasn't. P-39N, P-39N, and yeah, so I guess I was misremembering. But here we got one in a two-tone camouflage and some very aggressive shark mouth. And yeah, it looks pretty visually interesting. Let's see, this guy was in a place that I cannot fucking pronounce. Sorry for the language. But yeah, no, a nice two-tone camouflage. Probably somewhere in the Pacific, because that's where you would see that. And then here we got one for the Italian Air Force, which yeah, its name is Jik Jik. And it's pretty similar to that first camouflage, but obviously Italian roundels and a different name. And then finally we got the stencils. This one's for marking these, so this one is going to be that that Soviet plane, and then this one will be your standard one. So yeah, pretty nice. Almost at the end of this. Here we got the nice photo etch that you can use for your cockpit and other parts. And I believe that's the part you would be adding to the aircraft. It would focus for if you do that different decal marking. And this may look like a yellow sheet of paper, but that's actually a sticker, and you can't see it. I mean, maybe if I shine the light on it at a specific angle, but yeah, that's like a pre-cut mask, so you just have to find them and then take them off of this and then tape them onto the aircraft in order to mask parts. And then finally, a really nice, crisp decal sheet for all your options, including the cockpit. Your Soviet, your various American ones. I like these roundels with the red outline. I wonder why those were stopped being used. Very nice. And then I believe back here you get all your stencils. So overall, for a kit of its age, this is a very nice kit, and I'm very excited to build it. I haven't had a bad Eduard kit yet, so we can expect some nice high quality build from this. This has been Phoenix Labs signing out.